This is a review for finding volume of prisms and pyramids, and we're going to focus in on 4 steps here. All right, the first step for each one is going to be to name the shape. So we have here, I spy 2 parallel faces, which tells me that this is going to be a prism. So now our next step is to find the appropriate formula. I suggest to have a reference sheet ready. I've pasted a reference sheet down at the bottom of here, and this is the actual New Jersey state testing reference sheet for 7th grade. Here we have a formula for general prisms and V for volume. So since I have a prism, I'm going to use this formula here to find the volume. So let's write that down in step 2. Volume equals capital BH. Now you'll just have to remember that the big B in this formula represents the area of the base. Now that's the base of the prism here, which we determined was this triangular shape here, this polygon. So what we have to do is, to find big B, we're going to find the area of a triangle, which, check your reference sheet if you don't remember, but area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So now we're going to calculate that. The base and height of the triangle meet at a right angle right there. So that's 7 times 3. We have 21 cut in half is going to be 10.5. So volume equals 10.5. That's big B. And the height of the actual prism, always connects. It's the length of the line that connects the 2 bases together. So those 2 green triangles, the length between those 2. I think in one of our videos it said the length extended, or the extended length, is going to be 6. So we'll multiply that by 6. And when we multiply that together, we get a grand total of 63. And then we always want to end it, since volume is a 3-dimensional measurement, we're going to label it with cubic yards, or we can abbreviate that by putting yards to the 3rd power. All right, let's move on to this next shape. We're finding the volume again, and our first step is to identify the shape. I do not see a pair of parallel faces. I do see a polygon with triangles connected to it, and the triangles all go up to an apex up there, a point. So this we call a pyramid. So we're going to label it pyramid. And then we need a formula for that. So I'm going to go down here, and you'll notice that there's no formula for pyramid. So one of the things that we've practiced and we've gone over is how a pyramid's volume relates to a prism's volume. So for a general pyramid, we saw that if you had 2 shapes, a pyramid and a prism, and they had the same base and the same height, then their volumes were related. And we saw that if you took 3 pyramids, they would fill up a prism that was the same height with the same base. So it took 3 to fill up 1. So that meant that we have a volume that's 1/3 the base times the height. All right, so that's the relationship. So we have to kind of know that. And the New Jersey State test expects you to know that and be able to figure out the pyramid formula from them just giving you the prism formula. All right, now for our purposes, for our tests and quizzes on this, you can write this down, and you can have that available to you. You can write this guy down. You don't have to memorize it, but I'm just letting you know. All right, so now we figured that out. So we're going back up to the problem we were on. And we're going to write down the formula. Volume equals 1/3 capital B H. We know that capital B is the area of the base, and this pyramid's base is a rectangle. So we know that the formula for the area of a rectangle is base times height, and we have a base of 23 and a height of 14, and that gives us an answer of 322. So we're going to plug in the dimensions here. We have the area of the base is 322, and we have the height of the pyramid, which is this line, dotted line that meets the base at a right angle, and that is 25. And then when we calculate that in our calculator, oops, I don't need the 1/3 anymore because I already calculated that, it comes to 2,683.3 repeating, and we're going to label it with yards to the third, or cubic yards. Now we are moving on to this shape. What is it? We're going to identify it first. I notice parallel faces there, so this is a prism. We have our height that connects the parallel faces. Whoops. Our height that connects the parallel faces. So now we can check our formula sheet if we need to, our reference sheet, but I remember from the last time, it's just volume equals area of the base times the height. So we got to find B first, which is the area of the base, and we have the base right here. It's a rectangle, so we're going to do B times H. We're going to plug those numbers in, 11 and 5, and we're going to get an area of 55 for the base. So the volume equals 55 times the height here is 4, and when we multiply that, it comes to 220. And we need inches cubed, or cubic inches. Next shape. First, name the shape. What type of solid is this? I see parallel faces, so this is a prism. I remember that the volume of a prism is just volume equals BH. I know that B is the area of the base. Now, don't get confused, because a lot of people would say this is the base down here because it's on the bottom. But the bases of prisms are always the two parallel faces. The two parallel faces. So that would mean this triangle here and this triangle here are the bases. So when we're going to find the area of that base, and that is 8. Oops. I want to write the formula first. So that's going to be a triangle. So 1/2 base times height, 1/2 times 8 times 9, and half of 8 is 4. So 4 times 9 is 36. So now we're going to substitute in 36 for big B, and the height always connects the two bases. So the height of a prism always connects the two bases. So those are our heights. So that's going to be 11 right there. Volume equals, when we do 36 times 11, we get 396. And we look at the units, and it's feet. And so that means we have feet cubed. Next shape. Let's name it. Do we see any parallel faces? I do not. So I know that this is going to be a pyramid because it has a base here, and then the other shapes that go up to the point are all triangles. Those triangles all meet up at that point right there. So let's get started. Now I remember the formula. You might have to check the formula sheet again, but it's 1/3 big B little h. And big B, in this case, we're going to find the area of the base, which here is a triangle. I know that that's the base. All 4 sides of this pyramid are triangles. So how do you know which one's the base? Well, this dotted line helps you. It meets this triangle at a right angle. So that's the one that we'll use as the base. All right, that height there, that altitude is telling us which shape is the base. So that triangle down there. And we know that the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we're going to get 1/2 times 6 times 7, which gives us an answer of 21. So now let's substitute in 1/3 of 21 times the height of this is right there, which is 6. And we get 42 when we calculate that. And since it's feet, we're going to get feet cubed. Moving on, 2 more, and then you guys should be good to go. All right, first step, identify the shape. Do you see 2 parallel faces? I do. I see this one and I see this one. So this is a prism. Next, we need the volume formula for a prism, which is V equals big BH. And step 3 is to fill in everything. So we need to find out what B is. And B is always the area of the base, and in this case the bases are triangles. So we have 1/2. It looks like, here, let me erase this so you can see that it's pointing in an arrow into that red line there for the height of that base. So the base of that triangle is 6, and the height of that triangle is 4, and so we get 12 as our area. Now we can substitute into the formula. Big B is 12, and then the height. What height are they talking about? They're talking about when you know where the bases are. The height, this height here, is going to be the length of the line that connects the 2 bases. All right, so that's going to be 9. And now we can calculate that, and that comes to 108, and that's meters cubed. On to our last problem. Ooh, we got some fractions, but they're nice fractions. First, we have to identify the shape. Do you see parallel, congruent polygons or shapes? I do. I got that one here and that one there. And so this is a prism. Now, we need our formula for volume of a prism. That's going to be V equals big BH. And big B is going to be the area of our base. And we decided that the base was a rectangle, so to find the area of that, we're going to do BH. And we have down here, we have 3 and 2 1/4. So what I'll do is I'll do 3 and 2.25 since it's easier to type into my calculator. And I will get 6.75. Well, I guess I could have done that in my head. All right, now we're ready to substitute into the volume formula. So big B came to 6.75, and the height is what connects the base, the 2 parallel bases. And so we have times 4.5, and when I multiply those two, I get 30.375 meters cubed. There we have it. So some important little details there that I hope you paid attention to, and I hope this helps prepare you for upcoming tests and quizzes, and that you feel comfortable with this lesson. Awesome. Miss you guys.